social anxiety coach from crushsocialanxiety.org here again. And today I want to give you my 5 steps for overcoming social anxiety. Now these are the 5 steps that I used to really turn my life around. And this isn't everything that I used to overcome social anxiety, but these are 5 macro steps. These are the 5 big steps that I took. And in my approach, which you can read about on my page and you can see on my videos on my YouTube channel, I talk about my approach to dealing with social anxiety, which is you have to approach it from a macro level and a micro level. So the micro level is dealing with like techniques and strategies to deal with specific social situations, you know, how to strengthen your charisma and your social skills and your conversation techniques and this kind of stuff, but that's very granular, that's down at the micro level. Today what I want to talk about are some macro level things, and these are the 5 major steps which I took. So without further ado, let's get into them. Now, before I started handling my social anxiety, I was dysfunctional on many levels. My entire lifestyle was dysfunctional. I didn't know how to handle my emotions. I didn't know how to express anger or how to be assertive. I ate badly. I was using drugs. I didn't have a set routine. I didn't have a good sleep pattern. So my whole life was out of whack. And I took one step to begin with, and that started a domino effect which changed my entire life and helped me really get my social anxiety under control and turn my life around. And the first step that I took was I started working out at the gym. Now this might sound like a strange first step for dealing with social anxiety, but I can tell you it is huge. This is mainly because exercise is a keystone habit. Now what that means is when you change this one habit, you have all these, it's a ripple out effect, and it will change all other areas of your life. So I started to work out in the gym, and I started to work out 3 times a week, then I started to work out 5 times a week. And as I was doing that, I was getting in, you know, better and better shape. And as that happened, my self-image started to change. I started to like how I looked, and other people started to like how I looked. I started to attract females. I started to get requests from people to train them and to give them nutrition advice. And as this happened, my level of confidence and my self-esteem started to rise and rise and rise. So this is the first step that I took. And from here, this led on to the second step, which is that after I've been working out, I had to watch my nutrition, because 70% of what you do to get your body in shape is diet, and about 30% is done in the gym. So after working out, I didn't want to eat crap and eat trash. I wanted to eat well and eat nutritiously. So step 2 was that I started to take real care of my diet, and I got my nutrition under control. I started to eat very well and look after what I was, you know, putting into my body. I started to hydrate very well and all that kind of stuff. So I then had, you know, the exercise handled. I then had my diet under control. And the third step that I took was that because I'd been working out, I was naturally much more tired. Whereas before, because I had anxiety, I couldn't sleep, I had insomnia. I used to worry about things that I'd said. I used to replay embarrassing social situations in my mind which had occurred through the day. And I would just lie there torturing myself about stuff that I'd done, and, you know, ways that I thought that I was inadequate or stupid or whatever. And after I'd been working out, I would get home and my mind did not have the actual power or capacity or energy for this kind of negative self-talk. I would get into bed, put my head on the pillow, and I would just be out like a light because I was so tired, exhausted from the gym. And because of this, I would then wake up the next day feeling a lot more refreshed and a lot better, and I could actually wake up earlier. And this brings me on to step 4. Now, step 4 was that I started to have a really positive morning routine. Because I woke up, I had more energy and all the rest of it, I could start implementing positive habits. I started to clean up my flat, I started to get organized, I washed all the dishes, I washed my clothes, I started to keep a journal, I started to meditate, I started to do gratitude practice and turn my mind from being a negative pessimist into a more optimistic, positive person. I was getting up early, I started to work out in the morning as well. So whereas before I would wake up after a night of no sleep or little sleep, be depressed and anxious, crawl into the office feeling depressed with a cup of coffee because I needed it. Now I was getting up at 6 a.m, I was pumped up, I was excited, I felt like I was crushing the day. And I would get into work, hit the ground running, I was on a completely different level. You know, my energy was up. And people were noticing this, I was becoming a completely different person. And this is taking me on to my next step, which is step 5. In terms of completely transforming yourself, one of the biggest things you're going to have to do, which is what I did, is you're going to have to seek the help of a mental health professional, a therapist. Now, I went into psychodynamic counseling, which is talking therapy. I did cognitive behavioral therapy. I did a lot of different things, and this really basically started to rewire my brain on a fundamental level. It was as if I was changing the software that the computer was running. And it was through these techniques that I became to learn, I learned to become more optimistic, I learned to stop hating myself, I learned to increase my self-esteem, I began to question all these automatic negative thoughts that I had about myself and other people, like, oh, that person just smiled at me, they must be taking the piss out of me, they must be laughing at me. I realized that person was smiling at me because she was attracted to me, because she liked me, because I was worthy of love, because I was a worthy person and I was adequate, I was enough. So these things started to change on a really fundamental level, and this is the power of therapy. Therapy is very, very important. So these are the 5 steps that I just wanted to take you through very quickly, the macro level changes that I made, which completely turned my life around from being a depressed, out of shape, anxious, what I thought was a social misfit, to someone who's socially confident, happy, optimistic and positive. And so, those are the steps that I took. To recap really quickly, it was exercise, nutrition, sleep, positive habits, and then therapy, okay? So if you're not implementing any of those, I would really recommend trying to, make some of those changes, and I believe that you will start to see really positive changes in your life as well. So hit me up in the comments below this video, let me know what you think, let me know if any of that is working for you, and I look forward to speaking to you guys really soon.